Hello, beautiful light-filled souls. I am excited to let you know that the second annual Near-Death Experience Summit is coming up soon in about a month. The Q&A section will be on June 23rd from noon to 3 on Central Time, but there are several videos to check out ahead of time, so do look at the link in the show notes. And today I'd like to talk about basically just make this a virtual book tour and have several little small videos going over some themes in the book. Angels in the OR, thank you so much for your support. One of the themes that I've talked about a lot in other videos is love is all that matters and all that we take with us. But is that love from the heavens misunderstood here on earth? Certainly it is. You know, it's terribly misunderstood at times, but it's also easily recognized when it is needed. And so the dichotomy of it being misunderstood and easily recognized when needed is an interesting one. But the message that I heard from heaven was remind them that love is all we take with us. So all that we do that is good and loving is important. And I had to determine what love is by looking at God's love. And what I felt from God in the afterlife was this deep compassion, this incredible compassion for where I was at that moment, and this desire for me to live healthier, live better, have a better life. There was so much love that was showered on me, not judgment, but love and grace and tenderness and hope and joy. And so I used that as a model of how I was supposed to love my students. I looked at what I felt from God's love and thought, okay, if I can just bring some of that unconditional love into the classroom, then surely that will make a difference. So the key, whatever industry you're in, so if you're in corporate America, if you're, a manager of some sort, if you're, working in a food industry, wherever you are working, that if you bring this unconditional love, not judgment, the first moment you meet someone, like say they strike you as off balance or perhaps hurting in some way, well, depending on the severity of that pain, then you simply just show them how to live better, how to treat themselves better. You give them some ideas and some hope and some joy, and you accept them where they are, but hope for a better outcome. Now, does that mean that if someone totally disrupts an organization and, with violence or with aggression in some way, that's tolerated and just loved? No, that is not what happens in classrooms in America. Like no work would get done if students who were highly disruptive were just loved and told that they can keep acting that way. No, they often have to go meet with a counselor or a principal. Sometimes they're put in an alternative school. You hope that they get the help that they need in those instances, but many times violence and anger is an indicator that there is violence in the home. So when a student came forward and was violent in some way, usually his or her parent was being violent, and usually there was this cry for help, but this would disrupt an entire classroom. So many times this had to be done outside of a classroom environment with a different person who was trained or skilled in that, a counselor or someone who could deal with it. So, love is all that matters and all that we take with us. It is love for the self, hoping that, you can begin to work on your own health, your own needs, your own desire to live a better life, and give yourself the spiritual food, the nourishment on all levels that you need in order to be the strong person in the world and be there for others. And this this idea of love is all that we take with us. It's easily recognized when someone's open and needs it. So when someone just needs some encouragement and then their light comes on and they think, oh my God, I always wanted to do this. I always wanted to be an architect. Thanks for telling me that you like my drawings. Something as simple as that. sometimes it spurs someone on and gives them just a little bit of encouragement that day. And I know that each of us go out into the world and do so many different things that we're never going to talk about, that we're never going to make a video about. And, I do lots of things that I'll never mention and never write about as well. Some things that are just private and important to me. And there are ways to help this world. But I know that that love is really what I take with me. It's what I get excited about when I look back, and it is what gives me great joy. So I know it's a good reminder for everyone to remember that that love is all that we take with us. But is it misunderstood here on this earthly plane? You bet it is. Oh my goodness. From being misunderstood as flirtatiousness to being misunderstood as offensive in some ways. Some people find it highly offensive that you could love someone who came out of jail, or love someone who thinks differently from you or believes differently from you. But I wasn't told to tell people how to think and how to live. I was told to love them and to remind them to turn on their lights and be in that flow of God. So whenever I had students at the college level who were coming to me from jail, I didn't look at that part of their lives and judge them for it. I looked at who they might become from this point forward. And they were there, obviously, to change their lives around in some way. They were there to make their lives better. So that was my process in their life, is how do I make their lives better? And if we all interacted with other people with that intent, how can I make your life better? And sometimes that might even be, I need to get out of your life, and that will make your life better. But whatever the case might be, you can definitely give more love to this world, give more love to yourself by contemplating that love of God. And you can also get through how hard it is sometimes to give love to this world by contemplating Jesus. He did not have an easy go of it here in giving love to this world. And, he was derided and criticized. And when it gets too hard for us, I think giving that burden to Jesus, or giving that burden to God, or just trusting that everything has a way of working out. We may not see it in that moment, but it really does when you're aligned with love. Everything works out in a much, much more beautiful way than you might imagine. But thank you for listening. And there are several parts of this book where I talk about love being all that we take with us, from losing my father to simply being in the classroom with students at various moments and knowing that all they needed was love in order to move forward with their dreams and with their goals. And so many of us are just like those students, and it really is a good model for the world. So I hope you go out, meet people where they are, imagine what you can do to make their lives just a little bit better, because I know that many of you watching my videos are also light workers and have big hearts who want to do a lot for this world, and even the small things that we do matter so much. So thank you for listening, and may you be blessed.